Hello guys, this is Michael and we are back today with a new video. Today's story is a very sad and touching story, so before we begin don't forget to watch the story of the girl who killed her sister. So before we begin don't forget to like and subscribe. The Darden family met a sad end in their small town of Ina, Illinois, in 1987. More than a decade later, a serial killer on death row in Texas claimed to have committed these crimes, along with more than 70 others. However, the truth about the Darden family's final moments remains as uncertain today as it was on the evening of November 18, 1987, when police first discovered their mutilated bodies. Police visited the mobile home because Russell Keith Darden, then 29, had failed to show up for work as a worker at the nearby Rend Lake Water Conservancy's water treatment plant. Keith, who preferred to go by his middle name, was reportedly a very reliable worker. When he failed to show up for work or call to report his absence, his supervisor contacted Keith's parents, who said they had not seen him. By evening, police went to the Darden family home to investigate, where they met with Keith's father, who brought the keys to the mobile home. What they found inside the home was a crime scene so violent and horrific that it would haunt everyone involved in the case for years to come. Ellen Darden and her 3-year-old son, Peter, had been beaten to death with a baseball bat that had been a birthday gift to Peter from his father earlier that year. To make matters worse, Ellen was pregnant with their second child, a daughter, and the beatings had caused her to go into labor. However, the killer or killers showed no mercy, and the newborn was beaten to death as well. Ellen was bound with duct tape and gagged, and the three were placed together in bed. The area was also cleaned up, suggesting that the killer or killers were in no hurry to leave the crime scene. Initial suspicions that Keith Darden had brutally murdered his family were quickly quashed when his body was found the next day, dumped in a nearby field. He had been shot 3 times, and his penis had been cut off. Police found Keith's car parked outside the police station in the nearby town of Benton, about 11 miles from the Darden home. The blood inside the car indicated that it was likely the site of Keith Darden's murder. The rural community was shocked by such a brutal crime that had taken the life of a pregnant mother and her infant in such an unimaginable way, but the Dardens were not the first victims in the area. Over the past 2 years, Jefferson County has seen 15 homicides, including one particularly tragic case in which a Mount Vernon teen killed his parents and 3 siblings. While this series of killings appeared to be unrelated, it was enough to send locals into a state of extreme fear. In the days and weeks following the discovery of the Darden family murders, locals began openly carrying hunting rifles, and the coroner of nearby Franklin County was quoted as saying that residents were so afraid of letting strangers into their homes that if a stranger ran out of gas on a country road, they wouldn't even bother to knock on the door and would simply walk to the highway and ask for a ride. Despite a massive investigation involving 30 investigators, devoting their time to the case and interviewing more than 100 people, police were unable to establish a motive for the killings, let alone find a possible suspect. As time went on and the case grew colder, Joanne Darden, Keith's mother, continued to pressure authorities to try to solve the murders of her son and his family. She collected more than 3,000 signatures in an attempt to get the Oprah Winfrey Show to do a segment about the crimes, which was considered too gruesome to be shown on daytime television. Similarly, America's Most Wanted initially dismissed the case, but did feature it in 1998 that didn't yield any new leads. The brutal Darden family murders didn't come to light until 2000. That year, a serial killer named Tommy Lynn Sells, who was arrested after slitting the throats of 2 girls near Del Rio, Texas, confessed to other murders he claimed to have committed over the years while hitchhiking and working at traveling carnivals. Among the crimes Sells claimed responsibility for was the Darden family murders. According to Sells, he met Keith at a truck stop, or perhaps a pool hall, and Keith invited him to dinner at his home, where Keith offered to engage in a threesome with him and Ellen. Or maybe that wasn't the case. Maybe Sells just saw the "for sale" sign on the Darden family's mobile home and saw an opportunity. Part of the problem with Tommy Lynn Sells' confession is that he didn't always stick to his own story, let alone the details of the case. When Sells first confessed in 2000, Joanne Darden was convinced of his guilt. Over the years, her conviction waned, and by the time Sells was executed in 2014, her doubts were high. Tommy should have died for what he did, but I wanted him to live so I could be absolutely certain he didn't do it, she told the Associated Press after his execution. Although Sells confessed to more than 70 murders, authorities were only convinced of his guilt in 22 of the alleged crimes when he was executed. The Darden murders were not one of them, and to this day the horrific Illinois murder case remains officially unsolved. And here we have reached the end of the story. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to watch the story of the girl who killed her sister. Don't forget to like and subscribe.